How are you doing, everyone? Welcome to this Boxing Day special that I've just been talking about. It's not actually for us, Boxing Day, just a few days before, but you know what I mean? Want to wish you all a happy Christmas. I hope you've had a fab Christmas. If you're into Christmas, if you're not, I hope you have a nice time over this holidays. If you're not, if you're working, well, hang in there. Some
Yeah.
days off probably coming soon for you then. So, how is everyone? Jesse, look at we have our demonstrator Jesse there because it is our onion special there, Boxing Day special. Jesse's the only one that's actually made some sort of effort. We've all got our onions still in packets. You've done the right thing, Jesse. Thank you so much. JB,
Hello, hello.
Maybe.
how are you
No, I'm
doing? How are you
excited.
doing? How are you doing,
Oh,
lad? Are you good?
yeah, we've got a bit of like BBC News lag on Jesse there. That was like Jesse broadcasting live from the other half of the world.
I heard that it came in a few seconds. But JB, are you good? Are you nice? Are you well?
Yeah,
Are
it's
you...
all good. Like Mark, we were just saying before we came on live, I've just finished work pretty much. Finished work at about 2 o'clock. So it's like just like relax mode now. Done for a good week. Very
I was
happy.
going to say, when do you go back to work then?
2nd of January.
2nd of January.
2nd of Jan for me.
Have you
Very
took
good.
any? Because I watched this. It was actually a TikTok video where he was telling you which certain days to take off. Between and you can make like like you
Yes.
get like 60 odd days off a year if you just take like this Friday and this Saturday between May and all them.
I'm I'm very good at doing that. Yeah, looking ahead, seeing when the bank holidays are. If you've
uh,
got a long weekend, you can fit a few days in and just really extend it. And we're quite flexible at our work, so it's good. It's
well, you
good.
work at home as well, quite. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So.
yeah, yeah.
A lot of, you know what I mean? Trust, a lot of trust got to be
Oh,
put in there. Oh,
definitely,
yeah.
definitely.
Mark,
Hello.
from the bit I know, but
I
over the
know.
wall and further up as well.
I
It's nice to see you. I haven't seen you for a while, Mark. Nice to see you
know.
again.
It's my first time back on the potty mouth.
Yes.
Yes,
Well,
I feel privileged.
I'm sure. Are those highlights in the beard? Because the last time they weren't there, or is it a little bit
No,
graceful
just a little bit,
through?
little bit white even. It's. I'm going for the full Santa Claus
Oh,
eventually. I think it's
yeah,
gonna be my side hustle.
don't take. It's funny, one of our friends asked us for their school to be Santa Claus. Just no. This was a couple of years ago, but I get asked every year. No, you're not doing that, humbug. You know what I mean? Never kind of. Oh, you'd be good at it, Tony. I said, bloody not. No. So are you well, Mark? Are you good? How's your
No,
allotment going?
not too bad. As JB was just saying, I finished work about 20 minutes ago, and what a better thing to do than to come on a potty mouth. Be greeted by three happy, smiley faces. What brightened my day. It's been a tough couple of months at work, and I'm glad to be here. I am.
Now, the last time we spoke,
Hmm.
Mark, I'm sure if I remember rightly, that you were putting up your greenhouse.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing
Oh
now
wow.
then it's all done. You're starting getting ready for I don't know. So are you getting ready
Yeah.
for the chilies in January, February, or?
Yeah, absolutely. The greenhouse is up. It's alive and kicking. I must admit, the door's not quite 100%. I think I need to take it off and do something with the rollers at the top and fix it. But it's been good. It's been brilliant. What a difference having that at home. That
Mm.
extra stage between starting stuff off, having that space in the greenhouse before you take it up to the polytunnel. What a difference that step
It's
makes.
night
Absolutely brilliant.
it's night and day. Do you know what I
And
mean? It just
I don't get a row for having plants all over the windowsills in the house as well, which is a bonus.
well, actually, now this kind of sowing there will be on windowsills and in, you know what I mean? Because
Aye.
it is. Last year was the first time I did it. Like sowing seeds, onion seeds. Like we mentioned last week, I was a set man, and this is, I want to carry on the tradition. Do you know what I mean? And Jesse's all there. Jesse, just explain what you've got in front of you, because we've all been sent a one, but you've got yours nice and open, anyways. From grown local. There, this is a new tray.
So I actually realised I haven't even thanked him yet because I hadn't realised. It was only when you put on the WhatsApp that Ian had sent you one of these. I was like,
So I got so many packages arrived, like last minute Christmas shopping. I was like, hold on a minute, maybe. So I just opened it up. I was like, well, hey, which is exciting because I bought the long ones. Actually, the computer is sitting on my long ones at the moment. Just it's really haphazard. So if you fall off, that's what's happened. But yeah, so they are like the old root trainers, but they come fully apart. They're really, really solid, and they're little shorty ones. So that's pretty exciting. I had all my little, the little green trays. I was going to sew them into that, but I think I'm definitely going to go with these.
So are you putting one seed in one module there, are you?
No.
One variety?
I know.
Because
I know
JB's
we
got
talk.
a one seed business, aren't you?
I know. Well, we were talking about that, but actually, like, it's the same thing. Like, I used to have a sticker book when I was a kid, and I used to just spend like 6 hours at a time transferring stickers, from one page to another. Happy as Larry. That's basically like doing the onions. So I'm quite happy to spend, 2 days potting up individual onions. So I'm just going to sew them like en masse in these.
Well, JB, I jumped into your ship, your side, when you mentioned that. But again, I'm not happy at kind of doing it. It's not something that kind of relaxes us. But I was just thinking, I'd have to do it anyways. Do you know what I mean? You've still got to find them seeds one at a time. And I'm just thinking, I might just put them in the pots because I've got this as well. But I want to I've ordered 2 more myself, which they're not going to come obviously before Christmas. But I want to use these as the kind of chili starters in January. You know what I mean? And put them on, the big hotbeds I've got. Will they be all right for? Look at how are we 30 seconds into the show? It was an onion special. We're on to chilies already.
Chilies.
For God's sake, man.
We can't help ourselves. They should be really good for chilies though. But yeah, I'm just looking at them and they're definitely they're a bit bigger. That's quite a big cell compared to a lot of the standard size ones. So I reckon I might go just with kind of 2 or 3 onions in each of these and just kind of keep them multi-sown and then plant them straight out like that. I think the thing about pricking out all the onions from the quarter trays last year is that I wasn't expecting it and I wasn't prepared, and it caught me out when I had a lot of other jobs on. I was like, oh god, I've got to spend like 2 hours on these onions when I was expecting to sow loads of other stuff.
Well, I think though, Jimmy, for me, it's because I don't think I'm going to be doing that many. Last year, I had about that kind of size tray. I had about 4 or 5 of them individual, so it does take a while. But I've got and I think we've all got. So I've got Red Baron, which were ideal last year. They actually work for me. Jess, are you sowing Red Baron there today? And that's another. I'm looking. My camera's in the middle of the screen, so I've got to. What compost are you using there, Jess? Because I asked my wife actually.
The good stuff.
The good
stuff,
man.
Yeah,
that's the thing, Jess. I was going to say, I've only got old compost. Or not, last year's compost that's just been half scrunched up in a bag, tucked beside the hut. And I'm thinking, do I chance it with, with not crappy compost, but just, it looks crappy because it's just been, there's leaves on it now and there's everything, it's all rolled up. You must have have you went out specially and top of the class? Eh? What are we useless fecks doing? Do you know what I mean? We've just got a packet of seeds in my hand. Were you top of the class, Jesse, all the time at your school? I've done my homework, miss.
Oh my god. I was too excited if I'd done any homework. I was like, never happened.
So you're doing Red Baron there?
Yeah, so I think we've all got Rinsberger, Ishikura, and Red Baron, which were the 3 that Ian put together in that little thing. I've also got
I love those drawers.
Ishikura. They were Steve's favorite spring onion.
Craig, which is also one you can sow now. And then I've got a Leek that you can sow now called Paul Bella. So I'm going to do all of these.
Did
I
you?
really wanted Zebrun, which are the banana shallots, but I don't have any. I've only got Figaro, and I wasn't that impressed with Figaro.
So did you not get sent off Ian some white Lisbon?
I know, but I do have some white.
Get you.
I was trying to remember as well, Jess. What was the ones you said were just easy that worked for you last? Was there a pink something in onion?
Panther, but they're not from seed. They're set.
Oh, right.
I've never seen them from seed.
Oh,
Because I had not a great deal of luck with come on, focus, don't look at the seed box. I didn't have a great deal of luck with my sets last year. They all bolted, but the only ones that didn't, again, were the Pink Panther. So I'm just going to stick with them for sets.
Right.
They're the only ones I'll do.
I might actually, you know what I mean? I know that's, we're kind of doing the seed sowing now, but I might get some of them because it just sounded nice, Jess, to be honest. You know what I mean? I just want something that kind of might work for us. As well, Jess, look what I got. Can you see? I got them.
Nice.
Got some of them carrots as well. Like, they came. Actually, I got them from, and they're the same as like, look, I tell you why I like going independent, because you get a little bag and you can put them in your little, you know what I mean? It doesn't take up half your kind of seed trays or your seed box storage things.
Yeah.
I like little. Do you know what I mean? Little. So, Mark.
Yeah.
Is this, would you normally do Boxing Day sowing, or is this relatively new for you as well?
Yeah, so last year was the first time I did them from seed, and they turned out absolutely smashing. The Red Baron, so these ones, I did them from set the year before, and they just bolted, like loads of them bolted, and it was absolutely terrible. Did them from seed this year, magic, brilliant. What a result.
Nice.
The size they grew to as well, compared to the ones that grow from sets. I mean, admittedly, I've put some sets in now. So over winter, I've put in some of these. Is it Shensu? You pronounce it, the Japanese ones?
Japanese one, yeah.
Because I got them as part of a kit with the garlic and stuff like that. So I thought I'll just chuck some out, and I'll pick them quite young early next year to try and get sort of an early crop. And they'll probably be replaced by something like this. But definitely Red Baron from seed, magic.
Well, yeah, Mark, I can wholeheartedly say them Japanese Senshu ones early on. I don't get the white onion rot, and they don't come big. Like the kind of between a golf ball and a tennis ball size. But that's all you want. You know what I mean? And sometimes I like them even smaller. You know what I mean? So you can just use one in a kind of like a night salad. When you're making up a salad, you know what I mean? Just put a kind of. So, but I haven't actually done. I haven't got any. I haven't done any this year. So
they're for sowing in August, are they?
When
the Senshu?
Well, they kind of come out late. You know what I mean? So you kind of
Yeah.
sow them this year for next year. Kind of. I don't know about. August. I've never done mine in August. Is that what they see on the packet?
Yeah, the Senshu, it says that it's a summer cropping onion, so you sow it in August, harvest it in June.
Actually, then,
I've never done that, but
Jess, that might be because, like I say, they always come smaller for me. Well, maybe if I plant, sow them in the right time, you know what I mean? They might be a bit bigger by the time But you're right, Mark. You can pull them and replant them with other.
Just use the bed again, yeah. I mean, there's nothing going on really over winter. It's a bit of interest over winter. Something's going on at the plot. Let's go up and tinker with it and feed it and do something with it,
Well, I would have focused there.
You are, yeah. It's focusing on your
bit.
microphone.
Yeah.
There you go. It's fixed.
There you go.
Quick fix. Very good.
Jess, what you going to do for our first then?
Oh, I'm gonna some soil in my pots, I think, is the first option. I've just been looking here. I was thinking I'd throw some Musselburgh in as well, like bog standard Leek. And I just got the packet of Musselburgh. I found another one, luckily, but this one says sow by July 2017. So that one's probably.
Well, I would still try it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's where the quarter trays are really good. That's where it's worth just getting a tiny little bit, put the whole packet on, see what comes up, and then
if anything comes up.
Actually, your compost is probably more expensive now than your seed. You know what I mean? The amount of compost you're going to use for a little tray. You know what I mean? How much, Jess, is a bag of that then? How much did you wouldn't mind telling me how much did you pay for that?
£7.10.
Oh, that's all right.
That's a bargain.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's really good. So my allotments are like up the road that way, and we're completely disorganized and we have no committee and all the rest of it. But we're very lucky that the allotments that are like at the other end of my road are like the supreme allotments with an allotment shop and a super committee, and they have everything there. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. And they have this allotment shop that they do. That's where I get the mulch from now, JB, because I used to have to buy it in 50-bag lots
Yes,
to
yes,
get the cheap price.
yes.
And now they order it all in, and you can buy it 2 bags at a time, but at the same price as buying 50 bags. And yeah, they do this one for £7.10. And I've seen it
Nice.
like Thompson and Morgan or whatever selling it for like 25 quid a bag. This stuff, it's insane,
Yeah.
absolutely insane.
Our local garden centre has it for £8 a
Oh, that's
bag for
great.
40 litres, which is pretty good. But they're
Yeah.
out of stock because I went there yesterday. We went all the way there. I was like,
Okay.
damn it. There's none. I've still got a couple of bags from
So
last
what
year.
would you use then, JB, if you can't get that? What are you happy using for your onions?
Oh God, that's a good question. To be honest, I don't know. I had so much bad luck with using various different kind of peat-free composts. Jack's Magic was the main one that I used that was peat-based. That was pretty good years ago, but I've heard kind of mixed reviews about that now. I think they've changed the formula a little bit. And since I bought a few, maybe 6 bags of Silvergrow last year to rescue my chili seedlings, because I started the chili seedlings in some random old compost and they were not happy. Repotted them into the Silvergrow after maybe 4 weeks of, after they're germinated, and they came to life. They were loving it. I think it's more about the texture than anything else. It's really good texture, Silvergrow. So I've not looked back really, to be honest. I feel like we should all be on commission for Silvergrow for how much we talk about it.
Well,
I wish we were.
I've never seen it in any of my.
Yeah.
I'll have to have a look. You know what I mean? Because because we're still within the law. I use that clover peat-based one. And it's like cheating, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? It's just like it just works. And I do that for
last year I was doing I just did a bit of a garden job for somebody that I haven't done for ages, and they just wanted a load of pots done up, with like geraniums and just for a bit of colour. And I went and bought some really super cheap compost, which was peat based. I know it was terrible, but it was at like a corner shop garden centre, and that was all I could get. And there was some left over, and I just mixed it into a pot with something else I was using, and I haven't seen a plant that happy in such a long time. It just reminds you, like, I mean, I don't use it, and this stuff is the absolute best, like as an alternative, but it does remind you what it was like.
in the good old, because when is the ban, and has it been? I'm sure someone said on me comments once it's been changed to 2030 or something.
I think
the actual law, for.
Oh yeah, 2030.
Yeah. So I mean, if I can get some of that, so I tell you what I hate, mind you, and that's what is buying compost online. You just pay a fortune for it.
It's
You know what I
so
mean?
expensive.
Yeah, expensive, isn't it?
It's not worth it
I mean,
ever.
the delivery is more than the compost. You know what I mean? Well, look at what I paid for that Strush, 2 bags of that. That nearly came to like £30. You know what I mean, for these 2 bags. You know what I mean? And it was just
Crazy.
Like, I mean,
have you got it yet?
I've done it in videos, and I put it on 2 beds. And I've just been up today, Jess, and we've had gales yesterday. To be honest, I thought, if that's gone all over the garden, I've lost. Just like, I might as well just go out the house and throw 30 quid away. You know what I mean? It's all there. On the instructions, it told you to water it down as well, and it's all kind of knitted together. So, but I've also ordered a few years ago. Tony O'Neill recommended using, and it's rapeseed straw and it's for horse bedding, and it looks exactly the same apart from the strush is like it's almost coloured, like ornamentally nice looking, where this horse bedding's like white almost. But I think, and
interesting.
It was only like, say, I think £8 plus a couple of quid for delivery. So, and I thought it was actually dear at the time, but I can't remember it being that cheap. But it's a big bag, so I'm going to put a few more beds on that as well. Like, stop the weeds. So Jess, is that silver? Is it called Silver Grow? Is that
Silver Grow.
Silver
It's
Grow?
from Melcor.
And is it, you know what JB was saying there? It's like it's a nice texture. Have they got? Has it got stuff in it to kind of make it good for say chilies? You know, like the make you light and
So
stuff. That
it's
yes,
like old school soil. You know how a lot of peat-free stuff was really fibrous,
right.
and you've got a lot of, don't even know how to describe it, but you know when you've got really nice soil or really nice compost, and so much doesn't look like that anymore. This still has. I don't even know if you can see that.
Yeah,
It's got a
yeah.
really nice fine texture, and if you're doing
Yeah.
like over the top of seeds afterwards, and you put it through a sieve, like so much compost now, you end up with like 2/3 of it still left in the sieve, and this you just got the occasional tiny little bit. It's really, the
It's
texture of it's just brilliant, and it doesn't cap. You know, some of the really fibrous stuff, once you've sown your seed in it, it feels fine, then you water it, and that very, very top section, I've just chucked that
Yeah.
everywhere, the very, very top section just like forms a complete, like a little concrete
solid.
cap on top, and then that can be really difficult. I did it with my beans last year, is that it held the moisture in, and they started germinating, but then they just rotted out because there was no air getting to it. So, but I've never found that with this. And the other thing about this is the consistency, not consistency like the touch, but like how consistent it is.
Yes.
So every
Yes.
time you get a
Yeah.
bag, it's the same
It's
stuff
always
in the
good.
bag. Whereas
Mhm.
like that,
Yeah.
like Levington's, a couple of years, Levington's did a fantastic peat-free compost. Got really excited about it. Went and bought like 10 bags of it, and it was awful, you know, because it's just like not the same stuff. Because
Yeah.
they're all still experimenting with what works. So, but they've got it right, these guys.
I
Yeah.
mean, that
It's
actually that looks.
I'm not sponsored by them, by the way, just so you know.
Well, that
This
looks
isn't
actually when you have a
paid
look
promotion.
when you showed it there though, that looks like a nice as if it's had time to break
Crumbly.
down. Because I've had
Yeah.
that fibrous
Yeah.
stuff. The Asda bags looks like it's just been chopped up
Awful.
like
Yes.
last week
Yeah.
through a mincer and put in the bags without even having the time to break down. Where that looks like it's been
Exactly.
broken down over last season and then chopped up and everything. So
Yeah, they have a set recipe. It's quite it's like wood chip based. So like the silver grow is, you know, from like silver culture. It's tree based. So a lot of it
right.
is wood chip that's composted down, but it's also mixed with a few other things consistently. Like Jesse says, that's like the most important thing. It's always the same. It's a bit
You
of
know what you're
coir
getting.
as well. There's a bit of coconut coir in there for water retention.
Is there any
Brilliant.
GB? Is there any feed in there as well? Is there?
There is, yeah. They use the Osmocote feed that you get. It's like the slow release stuff. There's not much of it in there, but
Mhm.
because it's kind of bark based, you know, wood chip based, it is relatively nutrient poor compared to like a traditional compost, you know, or your homemade compost is going to be
Mhm.
really nutrient dense. That stuff is just like such a good kind of sowing medium. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Do they take it over the wall, Mark?
Yeah,
Do,
yeah, you
do
can get
they
it down the road.
winch it
Yeah,
over the wall? Do they get it?
just about. Yeah, it's only about. I think we pay about £8 a bag for it as well. But it is lovely stuff. It's really soft, and I think what Jesse was saying, a fine tilth. Is that what you call it? It's got a really fine tilt on it. And it doesn't clump, and it's not fibrous, and it's brilliant for seeds. It's really
Yeah.
good. Because I put some out last week, so I was putting the garlic out, and I've topped up the beds with compost, and I had this. It was a Westland one, and it was one specifically for vegetables, and that was brilliant. So cut it open and put out. It was really sandy, and
Mm.
it was a funny color. You know, compost like that's really dark. It was
Mm.
noticeably sort of more brown, if that makes sense, like a lighter shade of brown.
Yeah.
And even when I put it on top, you could dig down and you could see the dark brown of the original compost underneath compared to the new one. And what a difference! I mean, it might be fine for the garlic because if it's sandy, it'll drain the water away quite quickly, which is good so the garlic doesn't rot. But it wasn't quite what I was expecting, you know, when you open the bag and it's just like, what on earth is this you've got? You know.
Jess, which one are you sowing first?
Really, I'm trying to find some labels that I haven't already written on. Most of them look like this in the pot. So I'm trying to, what's that? Thai orange. No, I don't want that one. Right, got some labels. So which ones are you doing sewing today, chaps, or are you?
Mark's done his, right? You've
I'd
done
already
yours
done
already.
that, yeah. Look, they're
Oh,
already
Mark.
done.
Oh, done already. Here's one I did
Yeah.
earlier.
These are the Red Barons. This is my Blue Peter moment.
So you've done a whole tray there of just the Red Baron.
Just the Red Barons, and there's probably 2 or 3 seeds in each cell. Because I was laughing last week when you first said about the quarter tray, because I did the same last year. Quarter tray, sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. Great! Oh, look at all the germination. There's loads of them. Right, I need to pot them on, and you just look at them. It's like, nah, this is, and it took ages because it's got to be so delicate with them. They're so delicate, the little tiny little skinny onions. It took me ages to put them into cell trays. So no, straight into cell trays, 2 or 3 seeds in each at max, because the onion seeds are quite big, so they're easy to handle. It's not like carrot seed where it's like tiny little things. So it was dead easy with the onion seeds, 1 or 2, 3 in each cell.
That's a good idea, then, Mark. And will you, if 3 germinate in a cell, will you pull them apart? Or are you just looking to get one? You know,
I might
kill your babies kind of thing, and
I might leave two maximum, I think, per cell. So those ones are the same ones that you've all got that set that Ian sent out. This brilliant, by the way. The quality of the plastic on it, it's going to last for years. It reminds me of the the container wise stuff that you get. That's what it reminds me of. But yeah, I think if 3 germinate, I'll week one out.
It's Garland. Did anyone see that there? So, and they're the ones that are doing the quad grows and everything. They've took over the greenhouse sensations. Do you know what I mean? So they do the trays that are hard, but even the container wise one, I think it was even Steve's. You couldn't get. Just a bigger hole would have been ideal, where this thing kind of breaks. If I can get it apart, breaks apart. So how, Mark, then? Let's say you've had perfect germination. You're going to pull one and destroy one, so you've still got 2. So once they come to planting on, are you going to just take them apart? Are you going to split this kind of, like, say, 1? Are you going to split it and then plant 2 in the soil?
Yeah, I'll do it that way. I'll probably pot them on against out those cells. It depends on how they look and how the weather is, all that sort of stuff. If they're not quite big enough, ready to go out, I'll probably pot them on into bigger cells. So I'll split them in half and put them in. It depends on the roots, really, for me. So when they're in the cells, it depends on the roots. So if when you look at the bottom and you see the roots start to come out, then you know it's time to move them on. And you leave them too long, the roots will come up the side and they'll grow up the top, and you see them come out the top of the compost. And you leave them too long, they'll get root bound, and it doesn't kill them or anything like that, but it just slows everything down. It takes them a little bit of time to recover once you've moved them on. But yeah, I'll just play it by eye. To be honest, I'll keep an eye on them throughout sort of January and February, and if the roots are getting too big, I'll move them on. But if they're not quite too big, I'll just leave them where they are.
Are you going, JB, for 1 seed in one tray?
Nah, I'll do the same. Probably put a few in, and then, to be honest, instead of splitting them, I will probably plant them out like that as a multi-sown kind of clump. Whether or not that's the best idea, I'm not sure. But with the onion white rot, I quite often end up having to pull them earlier anyway. So I'm used to the onions being much more on the small side.
Is that your excuse you're going to run with now?
That's my excuse always. Yeah.
Used to the smaller ones, obviously, but you know what I mean.
I find generally the multi-sowing, so long as you give a little bit more spacing between each clump, you still get pretty good results.
Well, definitely for the Ishikua, you can multi-sow. Do you know what I mean? And you just get if you had like them in multi-sown Ishikua, you'd have lovely bunches of onions. You know what I mean, or spring onions.
So I've done Brunsberger and Red Baron in the first 2 rows. I'd say I've probably put about 10 in each cell, maybe slightly more, and I will separate them out. But I'm going to do the next 2 rows of the Ishikura, and then I won't separate them out. I'll just kind of put maybe 5 or 6 in each of the cells, and then they'll just go out as plugs as they are. I won't separate. I'm not insane enough to separate out spring onions.
That leads to madness, Jess.
Yeah, there's problems in that direction.
I've seen many a gardener, you know what I mean, kind in the padded cells. That's the last thing they did was try and separate spring onions.
One of my early vlogs, I had a whole tray of Lilia spring onions, which are the ones I normally grow, the really dark red ones. And I did that, and there's about a good 10 minutes of one of the videos where I am just laying out rows into the bed of individual spring onions, and I had so many comments afterwards about what are you doing? So
So Jess, you've sown them. Let's say Boxing Day. When would you look if they're still nice and healthy to obviously go out in not to repot on? When would you be thinking of putting them into the actual garden, into your allotment?
first time I'm actually ever sowing onions on well, it's like 2 days before Boxing Day, but generally Boxing Day. This is the first time I've done it. But normally I sow them mid-January and they go out like the 1st of March, or they go at least up to the allotment on the 1st of March-ish. So I'm guessing, see, it's not going to be too much different from that, actually.
Yeah.
Like sometime around then.
Right, so round about beginning of March. I was going to say either, a few days here or there is not going to make, even like a couple of weeks is probably not going to make that much difference.
No. What kind of spring we get, doesn't it? If we get another absolute burning hot spring with no rain, like we'll see what happens.
Mark, when do you try and get yours out up there? Because I'm guessing it's somewhere in August, is it? When a bit of the heat comes up?
Yeah, middle of August when it gets above 10 degrees, we'll go then. Sort of t-shirt weather. Probably not far off, Jesse. To be fair, springtime, and it does depend. But probably April-ish, kind of again, sort of around about that time. I'll have to have a look at my videos from last year to see when I did it last year.
That's what I do, yeah.
That's the benefit. I mean, I don't know if anybody, I think GB, you mentioned it in one of our little chats. All mine got hit with frost last year, taking them up to the.
I was going to ask, yeah, because
I
remember one of your videos you did where you peeled back the fleece, and every single block of compost in the cell was just frozen solid.
Solid, you know what I mean?
But they were fine.
Oh yeah,
they were mostly fine. They're quite hardy.
So I mean, I guess that whole family. Do you know what I mean? When you say you're planting onions, the Japanese ones in August, they're going to go right through your winter. So they're going to have the Japanese onions are going to have like an August summer temperatures. Then they're going to have to get used to like the cold, and then up north, God, you know what I mean? They're going to have bitter. Do you know what I mean? Bitter, and then come through it. So I'm guessing most, in that family. How we doing, Jess?
I've got the Ishikura in. I'm now trying Portobello. Now, I've never grown this one before, but I picked this one up when, I grow that nipper leek. That's the real thin pencil leek. I couldn't get them for a couple of years. I think they must have had a problem with the seed. And I picked these ones up because they're described as sort of very slender leeks, because I like just cooking them whole. But yeah, so I have never tried these ones before, but Portobello, they look sweet. They're bigger than Nipper, obviously, which are like really tiny, but we will see. I'm only going to do one row of these.
Audrey sent me last year some leeks, and they were like giant thin. I forget what the actual name was. I hope Audrey puts it in the chat. But they were like giant thin leeks, like giantly, and they came and they were lovely, to be honest. The ones that
nice.
I forget the name there now. So obviously a thin leek. I remember because we used to live in a few pubs when I was a kid. The leek show was the big highlight of. it was the big thing. Do you know what I mean? And the bigger the girth, you know what I mean? But nowadays, you know what I mean, we seem to be going for the thin ones. So you're sowing Ishikura. Did you say there, Jess? You've already done
these two. That's those 2 rows there.
Right.
So I've got Rinsberger, Red Baron, Ishikura, and then the Leek Portobello. Now I've got 1 row left, and I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to do Musselburgh or Isla Craig or Ailsa Craig, whichever way you call it. Yeah.
I thought Musselburgh were a later. They're not a bit of a later wintering.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought so, but that one. The one that I've got for, the really old seed, the new seed packet says don't sow till March, but the old seed packet says sow December, January. So
same company?
No, Thompson and Morgan and King's Seeds.
They just make it up, don't they? They just make it up as they're going.
I got rung off Steve once for sowing leeks too early. I saw that. I think I did them in February when he gave me a right row about sowing them too early. So I
Oh.
learned my
I
lesson.
remember
So
that.
never,
What?
never,
Oh, I
never
can't
again.
remember that. What
Oh
was?
yeah, I got wrong. So
Did you?
and leaks are a sore point with me at the minute. So I'm not
Yeah,
friends with the leaks. I'm
I
not.
saw those.
Yeah.
Commiserations.
What? Oh, is this when the animals came in two by two?
They've been eaten. They were all invited and they all came. And the leeks were eaten pretty much. There's a tiny little stub like that above the
Yeah.
ground. And they'd been on the go since about March, all the way through. And it's just they were just fattening up nicely, just ready to get picked and then gone in one night. The whole lot gone right down
Did
to
you
the
decide that
compost.
was the rabbits?
Well, a lot of people interested. A lot of chat. There's been some really good comments on it, and a lot of people say that rabbits are sort of allergic's the wrong word, but they don't eat alliums. It makes them ill, so they won't eat garlic, they won't eat onions and things like that. And so on the camera, when I put the trail cam up, I caught both. There was a rabbit, a nice big fat rabbit. It looked very healthy, mind, hopping about.
Mm.
And
It
then there
looked
was
like a
rat.
pet.
It looked like a pet.
Looked like a
It
pet
is.
rabbit that had escaped.
And then there was a rat came past, so it was either a rat or a rabbit that's eating the leeks. But everybody said
Oh.
rabbits get ill from alliums, so I don't know. But it only ate the green tops, so whether they can eat the green
Yeah.
tops of things, I don't know.
So,
A lot of rats. Never had a problem with them eating leaves. I mean,
Yeah.
now I've said that, they're going to be eating all the leaves.
Guarantee,
Yeah.
yeah.
Couldn't have been a deer, could it, Mark? Did you get any deer up your way?
Not that I've ever seen it. No, we get some things like I see like French hens and things every now and again. So because we're quite sort of semi-rural, so there is the possibility for deer. I've never seen any, but I would never rule it out. No, I wouldn't.
when you
Interesting.
see that French hens, what's a French hen? Is it like a wild hen? Is it something up in Scotland like a wild
Yeah,
hen?
like a wild
Mother chugger! What?
birds kind of thing. Yeah, the old sort of like a big bird. I don't know how to describe it. And there was two of them up there. When was I go up? Was it Monday or Tuesday? I went up, and there was two of them, and they leg it as soon as they see you. They weren't in the plot. They just sort of cut
Right.
about, rounded about the plots. I don't know how
Chicken-like.
high they can jump. Yeah, I don't know how high they jump. I don't know if they're sort of
What did you call them, Mark? I've just forgotten what you
French hens. Unless I've got something wrong here. Unless they're probably something else. Somebody's told me that, and I've just gone, oh yeah, right, that's what they are. And someone's winding me up.
It's actually a bald eagle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no,
did
I've just Googled it. It's definitely not one of them.
you go out, Mark, and buy a trail cam like Jesse, like JB to find out what the hell?
No, I'd had one for a couple of years. So I used it ages ago, and it went back in the box and it sort of sat there for ages. But when this happened, because they ate the carrots as well, so it's been in, and it's sort of so my carrots are in the pallet color raised beds, so double height one of them, and I'm dead particular with my carrots. So this compost gets sieved, it's got perlite, it's got sand, it's got a lid, it's got enviromesh, beautiful, right, lovely.
Proper.
And
Picture.
something has tunneled in underneath and come up into it and eaten all the carrots from below. And it's just carnage. There's bits of chewed carrot everywhere. What a mess. Honestly.
Would you say that? Would you say that?
And you can just picture them because they haven't eaten the whole thing. You just see them chewing it and spitting it
bit of
out
it,
next to it. Yeah. Somebody's done that to only one of my parsnips. Like just chewed the whole lot and gobbed it up everywhere. So thanks very much.
Jess, what Mark's got there, would that be rats, do you think then?
I think it's a rat that's taken the parsnip, definitely.
No, I'm
'Cause
saying for Mark. I'm saying for Mark that with his carrots, because like going under the
sounds very ratty. Yeah.
It looked too small to be the rabbit because the rabbit was a big fat thing. It was a healthy
Yeah.
rabbit, whereas the hole into the bed.
Rabbits, they just like pull everything from the top, don't they, with their teeth? Whereas the rats just like go under and chew the whole lot. And
so is someone having rabbit for Christmas?
Rabbit pie.
Yeah, I'll get that, mother chucker. It's the last thing I do. How we doing, Jess? Are we?
I made a decision. I was going to ask, but since you were saying that you got in trouble for doing leeks last time, I was like, well, I'll do the Ailsa Craig. Why do I keep calling her Isla? I don't know. Ailsa Craig.
Actually, I like Isla Craig. That's a
Isla.
nice. Isla's a nice name, to be honest. So
Yeah, the S is the S is on the wrong side of the L for it to be Isla. I just keep calling her that. Sorry, Elsa.
I've got a question, Jesse.
Yes.
What was the last thing that you sowed before this? Is it been a while since you sowed anything?
No, it's probably my overwintering peas. I
Ah, okay,
sowed
yeah.
end of October, maybe beginning of November. They're looking
Still
really
a
good
little
now.
while.
What else have I said? Oh no, because I had a couple of like panicked sowings. I sowed. I tried to sow some more mustard greens because all of the mustard
Yeah.
greens that went into the polytunnel just got eaten off. So I panic sowed some more, kind of knowing that it was too late, but just hoping for a miracle. That would have been like mid-November. Yeah, that was the last thing. They've done nothing.
Trying to
They,
think.
they're not. They're
I
not going to
think
do
Yeah.
anything.
I think my last sowing must have been the beetroot in paper strips, like the toilet roll strips, and that was
Mm.
months and months ago.
Yeah. Mine's the same. I can't remember the last thing I sowed. The last thing I put in the soil was garlic, but before
Well,
that,
I've sowed just last week. I put the elephant garlic in, but before that, God knows, you know what I mean?
I did some
yeah.
mizuna and some pak choi, and spring cabbage, but that's probably going back probably a month. I would have thought since I did
Mm.
that. I think.
I
It's
will.
nice, isn't it? When you start again. I'm really looking forward to the onions. It's like the beginning of the season. I'm
Well,
really
I'm going to
excited.
be doing some the marathon broccoli dead early on. Do you know what I mean? Probably in January as well, and get it out in March, because that's kind of tough as old nuts. You know what I mean? And
I was trying to be polite for once.
and cauliflower. Do you know what I mean? Try and like get a jump start on them veg. Oh, JB, you've got to have some of that, man.
Not cauliflower as
Broccoli I
well,
can
is it?
deal with. Yeah, cauliflower is the worst for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I've
sorry,
never had
Oh,
cauliflower rice. So cauliflower
all of
mixed with
it,
rice. Oh,
all
amazing.
of it, especially cauliflower cheese.
oh
That's
my
even
God.
worse than just cauliflower.
You can only improve things with cheese, though.
You'd think so, but it's just like it's rude to waste such a lovely thing as cheese by mixing it with cauliflower.
Some serious event in your past that's like, did you have a bad run-in with the cauliflower?
I just hate it, Jesse. I don't know why. I'm not a big fan of broccoli, but I love sprouting broccoli.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I don't know.
Didn't we
I
talk
like
about
sprouts.
Didn't we talk about this though, JB, last time? And there is certain people that do have like a poor tolerance for
Yeah.
certain brassicas. It's just like,
There's
huh?
like a gene where you find it quite bitter. But I
Uh-huh.
think over
Ah.
time, everything's become a bit nicer and a bit sweeter. So people say that about sprouts, especially like over the last 20 years, they've kind of bred sprouts to be much sweeter and nicer. And yeah, so I don't know if maybe that's happening. I love cabbage, so there's certain things. It's all one plant, Brassica oleracea. All the cabbages are basically one plant from that old wild plant that have just been bred
What
for
about
different bits.
Brussels sprouts? Then are you? Can you
Yeah,
eat?
sprouts I like sprouts. They can be quite strong, but if you get them when they're slightly younger, especially if you fry them in butter and bacon, then they're just now we're talking. That's what we have at Christmas. That's how we do the sprouts.
Getting back to why you got told off with Steve for leaks so early. What was his reasoning? Because I would be,
Yeah. Well, I can't remember. Oh, I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was blue something. And I just got them from the garden. I'd seen them. Oh, fancy them. I'll give them a try. And I'm sure it said sow them in February. I was like, great, can start them dead early. Got them done. Got them all sown and things like that. And then I got wrong because apparently only the show leeks should be done that early. And I think this blue, okay, it's like a French name. I think that sort of follows it. I want to say du Soleil, but that's like something to do with the sun, isn't it? So it's probably not that. And he was, and he, oh, don't do that. Don't sow them now. Waste it. Waste the seed. Waste the compost. Don't do it. No, no, no. You get them out and they'll just die because the weather will come, the frost will come or whatever and kill them off. So yeah, lesson learned. Not going to do it again.
but
So March,
did
April for me.
did you actually sow them
Oh
before
yeah,
Steve's? All
I'd
right.
sown them. Aye, they were in. And I think you know what, he was absolutely right because they didn't fare very well. I think if you like a show grower, if you
Uh,
do them properly and you nurture them, and I've seen these guys doing it with the leeks, and they have them up and they're over the top, and it's amazing the way they look. But no, I just grow them to eat them. Yeah, lesson learned from a much wiser man than myself.
Oh,
Yeah,
he used to tell me off for my early sowing constantly.
And yet, you know what I mean? It was always kind of, we always had this kind of belief or challenge to get through the winter with like late sowings to, you know, like in the polytunnels, especially to kind of have stretched that growing season out. And that's still, I think, for all of it to try and cheat like the later months and try and get, you know what I mean? So, but it's nice, like say Boxing Day with what you just said there, JB. It's like it's all starting again. You know what I mean? The onions now. When let's flip it to the chilies again. When you when you're doing your chili.
So mine'll be 1st of Jan. That's definitely when I'm doing it. As soon as that tree is gone, that's where the growing shaft goes with the lights. And yeah, chilies under heat, well, the heat under them, 1st of Jan.
Well, that's why I'm going to put them in them trays. And I had a look through the comments, JB, and it looks like folks want an extra pound of flesh for the chilies, not to mix it up on a. So we'll probably get them so they'll go out on a Wednesday night, because I think that's what we did the last time. You know what I mean? And actually, on that TV, I've still got the image of, you know, like the chili with the teeth and everything like
Oh
that.
yeah, that was cool.
So that's still there. So we'll do. And Jess, by all means, you can come on. Mark, you can come on. And do you, Jess, are you a big advocate of chilies? Are you, or do you like? Yeah.
2 really unsuccessful years with them. Up until that, yeah, I was like steadily getting better at it, and then had an absolute blowout year where they were fantastic and incredible. But it was the year that the weather was amazing, which I think was 2020. The chilies were like beyond anything that year. I was so excited about it. And then, yeah, 20.
Well,
No, it must have been 2021, because it's 22 and 23 have been really poor.
Tough years.
Really poor.
Was 22 the one where the water was bad? Had they been flushing the water, the chlorine, or was that for your tomato plants? Remember when you killed all your tomato plants?
Oh my God, that was awful. that wasn't last year, was it? That was the year before. Yeah, it was like the year before. That was dreadful. Just killed everything.
It's lovely from a viewer's point of view, though, Jess, that you're going through these hellish torments. Do you know what I mean? Because it just other people see. You know what I mean? We're kind of
year it was the
great.
water, and then this year it was the compost. Yeah, my chilies, like, they germinated brilliantly, and I had some really exciting varieties that people had given me. I had about nine varieties, I think, I started growing, and they all came up with their 2 leaves looking fantastic. And then I potted them up because they were in joint trays. And I potted them up, and then they just ceased to move until would have been like May, when I tried to pot them up into a different compost. The moment I put them in a different compost, they rocketed up. Like by then it was like halfway through April, May, and it was a bit late.
Exactly what happened to
mine.
Say
that's what happened to yours. Yours just stood still, didn't it, JB?
Yeah, there must be certain things about, you know, some types of compost, and I think it's texture with chilies. I think it's about them not being able to get their roots away and to find what they need. It does seem like they're quite picky when it comes to soil texture, and they just sit there. They just kind of sit there.
There was no movement. They didn't die. They just didn't do anything.
It's tricky unless you've got other people to compare against, which is why YouTube is quite good, because I didn't realize. I kind of thought, oh, they're ticking over fine, and then it was someone sent me a picture of theirs.
Then you seen my big boys.
Yeah.
Hey.
And I was like, oh, what's happened? I just realized that was when I realized it was really slow. So yeah.
So Jess, you've done the Red Baron, the Rinsberg, the Ishikawa, and
Rinsberg, Red Baron, Ishikura in 2 rows, because I'm not going to thin them out. Then I've got trying a Leek, but poor Bella, the one that says you can sow it in December. And I've gone for Ailsa Craig. as the last one.
So you'll give them a good water. I'm just for anyone watching who's kind of new to this. You're going to give them a good water. This tray comes with, I don't know if you can see there, this kind of, will you put the plastic lid on, Jess? Can you see that?
I will do, because the just behind you there's a window that's got a really fat window ledge that fits one of these on perfectly. But the window frame is shot, so the wind comes through. So I will put a bit of cling film up against the window, put these there, and put the lid on, and that should stop them.
And it'll be
getting
you'll
the
not
cold.
be putting any like additional heat. It'll just be the heat that's in that room.
If I was doing them in the conservatory downstairs, I would put them on a heat pad, but it's pretty hot up here. This is like house temperature rather than, so I think they should be fine.
They don't need much to germinate, do they, onions?
No.
I think it's like even between 5 and 10 degrees, they'll get going. So
Yeah.
I remember last year we had a lot of comments from people saying, oh, what temperature do I need to put my heat mat at to get them? And if they're in a house or just on your windowsill, they should be fine. They should get away.
Well, our kitchen it's tile floor, and it's like an old extension kind of, and it's brutally cold in there. So it was too cold about 2 years ago. It was the time I had a bad time with the Zeebrugger. So is it Zeebrun? The banana shallots, they're just shocking kind of, but they didn't germinate very well. It was all slow. So I'm going to put mine in probably the living room, where the wood fire is there. And,
oh, nice.
you know what I mean? Hopefully that'll kind of get them away, because it's that thing with germinations that, you know what I mean? You're looking, it's like, because although you were sowing them early and you can sow them again, sometimes if you sow certain plants and you miss that window, they don't germinate, it's too bloody late. And you know what I mean? You kind especially chilies, you know what I mean? You're waiting. And then,
because they take weeks to germinate sometimes, chilies. And I had that actually last year with my onions. Some of the packets were, up within kind of 4 or 5 days. And one of the packets took 3 weeks. I thought it was gone. So I sewed on top of it again. And then it all came up like double. And that's probably why I had such a nightmare transplanting them into module.
Well, actually, it'll be nice.
Actually, I think I'm going to buy another one of these at least, this shorty one, because one of the problems that I had with my chilies is because my heated, you're talking about you've got your heat mats. I've just got like the heated propagators, so they're like that size. And those little skinny green trays fit really nicely in there. But I started my chilies in them. So there was only about 5. There was 2 seeds of each chili in there in like little stripes. But I found that the germination really wasn't consistent across, either variety or sometimes like the 2 seeds of the same variety. And the heat mat, like where you've got to get them germinating, it was just too hot for them. So I was having to like prick them out, the ones that had come up, and then like patch in the soil and then take the next one out, and it just didn't work. So I'm definitely going to sow them separately, like in one of these this year, because there's a lot of faff.
Yeah, nice.
Just to let you know, Jess, I ordered the last 2 off Grown Local, so they're in my shopping basket there now. But he's getting more in. So
Your shopping basket, can I
nick them from the shop?
If I get the payment in faster, do I get them?
So I like these, to be honest. You know what I mean? I'm quite happy. I like that it's all in one. Do you know what I mean? You've got like a little kind of tray, everything, and you can, because once you're finished, you know what I mean? It's nice to tidy them up, put them back in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yes. What would be nice?
It's not got holes in the bottom before I put water in
it. All your paint starts to kind of bleb and everything on it. What would be nice, mind you, Jess, is kind of coming back, because you've got your little. We can have a look. In a couple of weeks' time, you can kind of show we're there.
In this room anyway, so I can show you next time. Yeah, I'll get these watered. I'm quite excited. It's really nice having your hands in the compost again, like.
Oh, I know.
After a month.
Is. It's put some like soil improver down on the allotment, and just to get your hands in that kind of, like proper stuff. You know what I mean? Not the
Yeah.
kind of fibrous stuff. Obviously, that silver is nice stuff as well there. So it's good, good.
Mm.
Well, Boxing Day is over. Christmas is over. The season is upon us. We'll be doing a chili special soon, so do look out for that, and we'll be back. Are we doing? Right, shut up, bloody dogs. I put the fire on. I built the fire up so like hot because the little pup I'm babysitting the little puppy, so it'll just be flaking. But the others now will be wanting to go for a walk, because it is what time we got there?
Coming up.
4 o'clock there.
4
So
o'clock.
are we doing a New Year's Day one?
It's a good question. We've not
Yes, yeah,
decided.
goodness.
We'll have to chat and have a
Well,
look.
that one was going to be the chilies, but if we're doing a separate
That's it, isn't it?
chilies,
Yeah.
makes it complicated.
I think maybe for the first one, because it's Monday the 1st, that's our normal date. I reckon Monday the 1st we should do a joint chili potty mouth special, just because
Right.
it makes sense. And then afterwards, maybe we can.
It's on the
Then we
right
can
day.
start.
It's a shame to miss the opportunity.
Yeah, it's a match made in heaven. It's
Have
right
you
there,
decided
1st of
any
Jan.
varieties of chilies yet, or is that a secret?
Well,
Do you
that's
know,
the show. That's the show.
Oh,
I actually haven't.
No.
I've got hundreds now, hundreds of
Yeah.
seeds.
Because I was going to give Ian
Varieties.
another plug because I got some Havana Gold from Ian.
Yeah,
I've
Ian's
never
got.
tried them before. It's the first time.
Yeah, he asked me about that actually. He sent me a few, and I recommended that because it was one of the first chilies I ever grew,
Ah.
and it was really abundant. It's a really nice pepper, Havana Gold.
What temperature, JB? Because I've got some like silly hot ones, but I like to grow the silly hot ones but I don't like to, obviously use them or eat them or anything. I like to taste them.
Yeah, I think that one's around 10 to 20,000. So a bit of heat, but it won't blow your head off.
I mean, cooking kind of does dwell that heat loads. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
definitely. Well, thank you, everybody. Jess, it's been lovely, miss. Thank you for our demonstrations.
No, I was looking for chili seeds. We put that away. Getting overexcited.
We'll have a little chat and we'll try and work it out. But just want to say a big thank you, Jesse. Mark, lovely to see you again. Thank you for coming on. It was a real pleasure. And JB, you were a star, sir.
Oh, thank you very
much. Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye all.
Bye.
Take care. Doodle bib.